The following is a rebroadcast of the 1994 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
For the 6th year, there will be a first-time winner of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Dan Brodeur was the number 4 seed in this event, but he's won 3 matches in a row. Last week, Peter Flynn took his only lead of the match with back-to-back marks to finish Game 1. But by the middle of Game 2, Brodeur had put 4 marks together, taking the lead for good. In the 5 previous years of this event, the number 4 seed has won it twice, the number 1 seed only once. Today's number 1 seed is Joe Ashline. This is his 2nd appearance in the championship match. Welcome to Candlepin, Stars and Strikes and the finals of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin, Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at it! He got it! Ready for a fair!
Candlepin, Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Milwaukee Kent Toyota, Dodge, Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good! That's good to go! It's a goal!
Candlepin, Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Brodeur.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Candlepin, Stars and Strikes. And for the last time this season, welcome again. Our final show of the regular season. It, of course, is Championship Week, the final match of our 6th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. I'm Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy. We're so glad to have you with us as we move toward the summer. It means it's just about time to take the summer off, and we hope to go out with a bang today.
Yes, and I'm sure Dan Brodeur wants to go out with one more win. Standing in his way, Joe Ashline. A great matchup for this final week.
All right, let's meet our 2 bowlers. First of all, our number 4 seed. He's won 3 matches in a row. From Bow, New Hampshire, Dan Brodeur.
Okay, Dan comes in averaging 120, 187 for a high single, 441 for a high triple.
And I guess he's developed quite a fan club here over the last 3 weeks as he's beaten in order Mark Gregory, Paul Berger, and Peter Flynn. And now he will take a crack at our number 1 seed. From Nashua, New Hampshire, Joe Ashline.
Okay, Joe comes in averaging 127, has a high single of 203, a high triple of 505, and the roll-off, actually a championship week, his score, the winning score to get him here is 441.
And Joe, this will be Joe's 2nd appearance in a Tournament of Champions final match. We'll be telling you a little bit more about that later on. Of course, the runner-up today gets $600 for 2nd place. The winner takes home $1,500. The bonus ball contest at the end of the hour is $260, so lots on the line here in the next hour, our final show of the season. We're glad you're with us, and we will get it started. Dan Brodeur and Joe Ashline right after these words. Well, when we started this whole thing 4 weeks ago, these were the 6 guys who had qualified for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Mark Gregory won the first match in this series 4 weeks ago, but then Dan Brodeur knocked him off, and that began a 3-match winning streak so far for Dan Brodeur as he has beaten Mark Gregory, then Paul Berger, and last week Peter Flynn in the semifinals. Today, Joe Ashline, our number 1 seed, provides the opposition, and we'll see how this all works out. Dan Brodeur and Joe Ashline, each gunning for their first series title. As in the 6 years of this event, we'll have our 6th different champion, and Dan Brodeur almost starts with a strike.
9 3/4 anyways. That 7-pin was rocking and rolling, and this for the spare. No, pulled it to the left. That's 9. Some people in the crowd have a bad angle and they clap like it was a spare, but didn't see it fall off into the channel.
We have a huge crowd for this match. Many of them you can't see. They're off camera and in unlighted areas where we can't see them, but
yeah, if you kind of get with it, it's kind of grainy if the camera's on them. What's that, Doug?
Is that a TV term?
That's a TV term. I just heard it about 3 minutes ago. A guy with that infinite wisdom told me.
Not quite for Dan.
Nope, just sliding off to the left again. Pulling the ball slightly to the left right now. 2 and 10 left for Dan. And for the first week, he'll fail to mark, and I believe in the one of the first 2 boxes.
You are correct about that. Here's Joe Ashline. Joe was in the finals 3 years ago, came in as the #1 seed, and lost to #4 seed Pat Pay in a very similar situation. 388 to 317. Starts off with a spare.
So Joe Ashline draws first blood with a spare in the first.
Five on it.
4 horsemen plus the 10 pin.
And now the 1-7-10 remain. Joe was also in the 1990 Tournament of Champions. He came in there as the #3 seed and lost his first match to Al Cloutier. That year, Al Cloutier won 4 matches in a row before dropping the championship match to Paul Berger. That was 1990.
Another 9-pin drop for Dan. The 8-pin this time, and let's see if he's going to have a roadblock. That's exactly what he's going to have.
Well, at least he has the benefit of that other wood. That back piece of wood looks like it might be frozen, so...
Well, in this shot, he can get by it. However, he doesn't have much room to play. Nope.
Oh, wow. And the 10. Wow, this time just the 1 and the 9.
Can't even steal the 8-pin. We saw the 189 a few times last week.
Good out there, the 8. Still looking for his first mark, though. Joe Ashline from Nashua, New Hampshire. Joe and his wife Robin have 3 children, Derek, Cody, and 7-month-old Amanda. Oh, big strike in the 3rd.
Not much doubt about that one in the 1-3 pocket. Just a matter of whether the 8-pin is going to cooperate.
Joe works as a sales manager for Cronin Electronics. Does a lot of his bowling at the Lita lanes in Nashua, and he chops the half Worcester.
One more.
Good 9 fill on the strike. Increases lead to 15 early in the match. And can gain another 2 and count with a 10, and he does.
Danny, back on him, Danny. Come on, Danny. Yeah.
If you were with us yesterday for our doubles Tournament of Champions final, I ran through the list of all the people who helped make all the Candlepin bowling action possible here on the Winds of New England, so I won't repeat the list, but for those of you who didn't hear it, just suffice to say that there are a lot of people behind the scenes that you don't see that do an awful lot of work to put this program on the air, not the least of which our fine production crew and Want to thank all of them and all of you at home for helping to make this our 10th year of Candlepin Stars and Strikes another successful one.
One 7-10 left for Dan. Still looking for his first mark now through 6 frames.
Yeah, there's a nice conversion on the 10.
You see the replay of that 10. Ball goes down and takes the 10 pin. The head pin takes the 7.
Would have had that without the wood.
I think so.
Joe Ashline. The 5 and the 8 with the wood settling in. Spare in the 5th. 3rd time in a row he has marked on lane 32. Has yet to mark on lane 31, where he is now. Of course, our presenting sponsor here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and most particularly supportive at this time of the year during Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions time, our folks at Tri-State Megabucks, and we want to thank them very, very much as Joe Ashline fills that spare with a strike, and there is his first mark on lane 31.
And it's a big one. Strike on spare. Increases lead to 27, and he'll still have 2 bonus balls coming. Dan looking for his first mark. And he'll have a shot at the 10 pin.
Also want to thank one of our participating sponsors for this series here on Stars and Strikes, Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save. Main Street, Route 97 in Salem, New Hampshire. Emmett Horgan and the gang. Loyal supporters of Candlepin Bowling here on the Winds of New England.
Dan puts his first mark up in the 7th, the spare.
Looking for more. Right on the head pin and needs a mix. And he gets the mix with another 9-pin drop. Well, that didn't look good at the start.
It's got to go right at the 6-pin.
And he's got it. 2 in a row.
Nice time for a double up there, Joe. Come on.
Joe Ashline working on a strike now. Joe threw his hands up after he let that one go. He knew it wasn't going to be anything real good. Although he's got a shot at this, certainly, and he converts it.
3 in a row now.
Didn't turn out that badly. It didn't cost him a thing. Spare on strike.
I've been touching them all over here.
Joe has 3 speeds to the ball. Fast, fast, and faster. He really throws hard. We talk about that each time he comes on. Big arm swing generates a lot of speed. 3, 6, 7 left for Joe. Going to have to cut the 3 into the 7. 3 into the 7.
Yes, just like that. Wow. Well,
there it is.
It's one thing to throw the ball hard. It's another thing to throw it that hard and be that accurate.
When he's on, he's on. And right now, he's on.
6 marks in 8 frames, I would say so. Dan Brodeur's got 2 marks in a row.
A little bit behind himself. Off the ball to the right. 5 on the spare. 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7.
And the 8. 98 with 1 to go.
Oh, Danny, right here.
The 3, 9, and 10 with wood.
Looks pretty inviting if you can hit that 3-pin. 2 pieces of wood that should clear out the 9 and the 10.
Yes.
Spare in the 10th.
3 marks in the last 4 boxes for Dan Brodeur.
Catches a little bit of the wood to the left, but keeps the ball straight into the 3-pin. 108 plus this ball.
And a big fill. 8 for a 116 for Dan Brodeur. He'll be trailing after 1. The question now is, how much will it be? Joe Ashline already at 120 plus a ball in the 8th. He's got 4 marks in a row and a spread eagle. And a 4 fill on the spare. Oh, look out! Look out!
He certainly gets the pins dancing around, doesn't he? 2 and 7 left for the 10 box.
Nice 10. Well, the mark here would push the lead over 30. A little full. The 2, 4, and 10.
He made this shot opposite side just a little while ago. Well, Dan will get some back with the spare 8 in the last frame, but he'll still be down a couple dozen anyways.
143 for Joe Ashline. 1 game in the books. 27 pins the lead. Joe Ashline over Dan Brodeur. This is the championship match of the 6th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. You look at Joe Ashline, our leader after game 1.
And you'll have the triangle, 2, 4, 5 to shoot.
Yes. We didn't have any bowlers this year, Dan. Double up, be in the Tournament of Champions in both singles and in doubles. And a couple of guys come close. On the spare, it's an 8 fill.
The 2 and the 7, and a couple pieces in between, or 1 behind and 1 in between the 2 and the 7.
Oh, yeah. That's 8 marks in 12 boxes.
It's a man doing what he does best. It's Joe Ashline opening with a 143. Started with 2 marks in a row here in the 2nd.
Dan Brodeur trying to answer, and instead he's looking at the spread eagle.
Oh, that close.
Ho, ho, ho. Just missing the 2-pin. And the 10. Let's look at it.
Not close.
Off target for Dan.
$19 through 2 for Dan. Increases the lead to 36 plus this ball that Joe will deliver now.
The highest score that we've ever had rolled in a championship match in the Tournament of Champions was last year when Peter Flynn threw a 4-10 And I'll tell you what, if Joe Ashline keeps going the way he's going, that's going to be a distant memory.
The way he's going right now, any other sport would be calling a timeout, trying to slow him down. But he's got good rhythm right now, off target that time, but
1-3, 4-7, no.
But it's a decent 8 fill on the strike. Already at 56 through 3. I think it's 66 through 4.
And a strike for Dan Brodeur. He started to catch fire a little bit at the end of game 1. That's his first mark here in game 2.
Good looking ball in the 1-3. Of course, I know he's thinking, let me put another one in there. Let's throw a double and see what happens. This time full on the head pin. Got a good break off the full hit though. Just the 10 pin.
Oh my.
That's a ball that actually stayed on the lane, I believe, and just slid by the 10 pin.
And a 10 for Dan. We'll take a break. Joe Ashline in command right now, almost at the halfway point of our championship match. We'll be back in a moment. Well, Joe Ashline has a 45-pin lead at the moment.
And no signs of letting up.
That'll be a 9 drop. He'll leave the 5. I don't believe that piece of wood in the front is frozen, but
it shouldn't make any difference the way he throws the ball. He's going to be on the try right for the 5 pin. He's a little bit to the left. It shouldn't make any difference.
it didn't.
4 out of 5 boxes the second game, all marks as you can see. 3 spares and a strike for Joe Ashline. 76 plus the ball.
Boy, he is just ripping right now.
1-2, 1-3, all over the head pin. And this wood has probably got enough speed to turn a little bit. Still going to have to be to the right of the red line, I believe. Not that far right.
Ooh. Halfway through the match, 15 boxes. Joe Ashline at 228. And that's a 9 box.
Nope. Talked about momentum the last several weeks. Dan has got to catch a little bit right now. You certainly don't want to go in 40 pins behind the last game. Crosses over and the 5-7, but a piece of wood. A makeable spare.
Look out.
He knew that as soon as he released the ball. Kind of reared up at the point of delivery, and then I'll pull the ball to the left each and every time.
Makes it off the cap that time. Well, Joe Ashline has doubled his lead here in this second game so far.
There's a mark up there.
And now the 189 for Dan. Dan works as an industrial electrician for Concord Litho Company.
Does a lot of his bowling at Boutwell's in Concord. Lives in Bow with his wife Marlene. Marlene is a faithful viewer of Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Absolutely. If not at home, they tape.
Another 10 for Dan Brodeur, but 10s aren't going to help right now.
No.
Joe Ashline is just on fire right now.
He's just in such rhythm. Jeez. I mean, that ball seems like it's going 500 miles an hour, and it looks huge going in the pocket.
Spare in the 7th.
Come on, get over that hit stick now on this alley. Come on. Up 10.
Oh,
Hit it high.
another 9-pin drop.
Watching him right now reminds me the day when he qualified for the Tournament of Champions, the 441. He was just ripping it like he is today. It's just 8s and 9-pin drops, and I'm talking 8s and 9s, and I put 9 down. Sorry, Joe. There we go. 123 is his score now through 8 plus the bonus ball. Dan needs to put some marks up in a hurry.
The $8.
Lead now is increased to 64.
Nothing touched the 5-pin.
Over it, Danny, all over it.
Until that piece of wood.
You have to really watch this. If he's close to the 5-pin, he could cap that wood to the right. And he's going over that side. Good choice. Spare in the 8th.
His 4th, make it 5th mark of the match. Joe Ashline already has 12.
I was going to say he has 6 in this game alone.
Joe could have had a spread eagle there. He carried a couple of extra pins.
3, 6, 10, and the 2-pin.
Look out. Oh, he tried for it. If he had been a little bit over more toward the left, he might have been able to make that happen. $10 for Joe. He hasn't had anything less than a 9. He hasn't gone more than 2 boxes without a mark. He's done that only once. That was the last 2 boxes of the first game.
And everything you just said leads to me to believe that probably should be ahead by 70. Just not giving Dan any chance of climbing back in, at least not right now. And he's got a threat here of going 2 open frames.
I wonder if he'll be able to touch both of those pieces of wood.
4, 7, and the 6-pin.
Can he fit it in between? Not quite. Tried, though. That is a 10, a 149, and a 2-game total of 292 for Joe Ashline. 143, 149. Dan Brodeur on a spare. And he'd love that 7 to go, but it won't.
3, 7, 10 piece of wood next to the 3-pin. Almost like try to cap that wood next to the 3-pin and send the ball over there. No, oh, almost.
Thought The 10 pin would be covered. And the 9.
102 now through 9.
The 4 horsemen left with the 7 pin off the spot. In fact, the left edge of the pin is over the end of the lane.
The wood should help, though, between the 4 and 7. Yeah, still got to catch that head pin, just sliding by to the left. So he's going to find himself in a heap of trouble going into the 3rd game.
$10 for 112, a 2-game total of 228. Joe Ashline with the big lead, and with 1 game to go to decide our championship for 1994. We'll be back after these messages. Well, we're back for the final game of the 1993-94 season, and Dan Murphy, you've been in a lot of tournament situations and television situations. Down by 64 with 1 game to go. How do you play it?
I'd play it just like that.
Boy, I set you up for that, didn't I?
No, you're 64 pins down. I got to throw a 150, 160 game and just hope that Joe has a subpar game, which is sometimes it works to your advantage. Crowd loves underdogs. And the crowd, you get going, the crowd is going to be behind you. And of course, the other bowl's thinking, geez, can I lose 60-some pins? And sometimes you start making a run at somebody and it gets awful tight up there, but he certainly hasn't got much room for error. He's going to have to put a lot of marks up. Oh, good effort. Good effort.
You could tell even by that reaction that the crowd is rooting for Dan to make it a little bit closer. Let's see.
Oh, right behind that 7 pin. The other problem you have is that this man is on a roll, and he is just brimming with confidence right now, and just feels every ball he throws could be a strike. 7-10. You want to see some pins fly. Keep your eyes open. Watch this. Look at him. He's raring to go here. Like a thoroughbred waiting for the gate to open.
No,
Yeah, you got it.
not quite enough flying there, but enough to get the spare.
That's exactly what he wanted to do, though. Cap both pieces of wood. So that means to tell me he's pretty sharp. Back on the head pin. Getting that extra pin, the 7 pin to go down, 9 fill on the spare.
Gotta love it.
Joe threw his 441 to grab the top seed back on Thanksgiving weekend. That was only the 2nd series of the year, and it held up the whole season. Joe beat Chris Sargent in the championship match. And he looks like almost a lock right now to beat Peter Flynn's score of 410 last year to win the Tournament of Champions, which is the only 400 triple we've ever had in the championship match. And Dan Brodeur that close to another strike.
Well, last time he had the 10 pin, remember he just slid off to the right. Let's see.
Got it that time.
Spare in the 3rd. Of course, he's thrown some good balls, and he's got to strike in that first box, but that's what he has to be thinking. It's got to hit the pocket, hit the head pin. Hopefully I'll get a couple strikes up there.
Well, let's see. Just missed. So it's the 5 and the 7 with wood, though.
Well, you want to go maybe cross alley and clip the wood on the left-hand tip and have the ball carry through for the 7? Let's see. That's what he's trying to do.
Yep.
Actually snapped the wood off the 5-pin into the 7, but 3 out of 4 boxes marks. Right now he has to keep bowling well, but he needs some breaks from Joe.
Joe off the head pin for a rare miss.
Actually, that's a break. He got 6 on it. The 1, 4, 7, and 9. No wood.
Yes, 10 bucks. $600 to the runner-up, $1,500 to the winner, and don't forget, stick around at the end of the hour because we've still got a bonus ball contest worth $260. And of course, if we don't get a win today, it means I have to entrust you with a rather sizable check over the summer.
Over the summer, I'll double it for us. Oh, nice spare by Joe.
Both bowlers with spares up in the 4th, but Joe Ashline still with the big lead here in Championship Week, and we'll be back with more in a minute. Dan Brodeur working on a spare. Six, and would be nice if the wood comes up and freezes against the 2. That'll give him a. Well, it's going to give him a shot. 2 ways. He can split the 3, 6 and clip the wood, or maybe even inside of the 3-pin on the 2-pin side and clip the wood. That's the way he plays it, but the 6-pin is still there.
A little light.
The 10 bucks, a 73 half for Dan, easily his best game of the day so far. And the strike.
Well, keeps that light at the end of the tunnel on for Dan. Just nudging the 10-pin over. You see in the replay for the strike, Joe Ashline now working on a spare. It's twice he's missed a head pin now. Must be getting a little tired. 1, 2, 9, and 10 for Joe. Strings of 143 and 149. So Dan throws a 73 half. Joe follows with a 70.
A reminder, too, that bowling continues all summer long here on the Winds of New England. Saturday at noon, Stars and Strikes doubles. Sunday at noon here on Stars and Strikes. We'll be rebroadcasting some of our better shows from throughout the last season. And then we will rejoin you in the fall of '94. But I think, like all of you, we're going to enjoy the warm weather for a while first.
Yes, that's for sure. It's been a cold and snowy winter.
A 9-6 box for Joe Ashline. 6th box, I should say.
No, Dan's got a strike working, and you know what he has to be thinking. Same thing everybody else in the crowd is thinking. Down 60, would like the double.
And there it is.
The double.
Well,
no, it's going to make a statement. It's going to make one more run at Joe. There'll be a lot of scoreboard watching if he was to throw another.
this is the key ball right here.
We pushed it a little bit.
Just 5. Nope. And we encourage everyone once again to get out during the summer and visit your local New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association Bowling Center and participate in the summer league, or just get out and bowl and have some fun. And if you should happen to stop by here at Park Place Lanes in Windham, New Hampshire, be sure and say hello to Rodney Cronin and his great staff at the Willow Tree North restaurant, located right inside Park Place Lanes, the Willow Tree North, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's where the crew eats.
Well, Joe will be open for 3 boxes in a row. One other time?
No, this is the first time.
This first time. Reduced the lead down to 37. But with only 2 frames remaining for Dan Brodeur, he's going to have strikes, and Joe could even have a say about that with this box. All of a sudden, Joe's not carrying the extra pin, but had a healthy lead coming in. This time the 2 and the 7. Wood swings around, but I don't know if it's got enough angle to carry the 7. Let's see. Nope.
Nope. Very nearly, though. It came on the back of the plate, it appeared, behind the 7 pin. So that's 4 boxes in a row.
He is human.
Wow. But as you see, this lead is still 38. So Dan Brodeur would have to throw a lot of strikes here in the last 2 just to put Dan in any kind of discomfort.
He'll probably throw one, because that will really make him think about the double before that, and if he had one in between, right? No. 4 horsemen plus the 9, 8, 9, 10, what is it? 9 pin. The end of the season, folks, they all seem to kind of blend together.
Dan's mentally on the golf course already.
Yep, that's right. Counting my strokes. 8, 9, 10. Oh, pick it up, Doug says. That's a gimme. But I'm not on the green yet, Doug. 1, 7, and 9.
Eight box. It'll be a good third game for Dan Brodeur, but can't spot a guy like Joe Ashline a 60 or 70 pin lead and get away with it usually. Joe Ashline is our champion, winning his first Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions title, and he becomes only the 2nd #1 seed to win this event. The only other #1 seed to win it was Paul Berger 4 years ago.
We got to give credit to Dan Brodeur, though. He made a great run the last 3 weeks, and today, Joe got off to a real great start, and just never could mount the offense quick enough to make a real serious run at Joe, but finishes with 142
for a 3-game total of 370. Joe Ashline is going to cross over the 400 mark with this box. Maybe. He needs a 9. And he gets the 10. Well, right now, Joe Ashline needs a 10 to beat Peter Flynn's 410 of a year ago. That's the highest winning score we've ever had in the Tournament of Champions finals. If Joe gets a 10, he'll beat that by 1. And it won't be easy.
It's going to work for it.
Oh, look out! Oh, wow. That would have been a nice way to go out. But he does indeed get the 10 box, a 119 and a 411
for Joe Ashline. He is our 1994 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions winner. We'll be back to award the checks and see if we can't give away some money in our bonus ball contest, too. We'll be back. And welcome back here to the Tournament of Champions, all in the books for 1994. And how about another round of applause for our runner-up, Dan Brodeur, who made an outstanding run of it, 3 wins. And I'm sure many of you at home know that we tape more than one show on one day, and it's difficult to run this many in a row, and especially when a guy hits you with a quick couple of games like Joe did today.
Yeah, Joe came to play, and unfortunately he was playing by himself the first 2 strings. Really did a job. Great score. He's to be credited.
Well, the check is $600 for second place, and our congratulations, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you and everyone else again in the fall.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dan.
Can I just have a second and thank Channel 50, the NACBA, all the sponsors, and you and Dan for making the show what it is for the bowlers. I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people.
Thanks.
It's really great.
Thanks very much, Dan. We appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's see if we can't give away a little more money now. Joe Ashline for our bonus ball contest, and the number is $260. We have not had a winner since Halloween. So I think it's time to do it before the summer. All right, it's 5. Let's see what you can do.
I don't know. Bruce Young's going over 8.
Dig down there, Dan. See if you can come up with a 5. See if you can come up with a 5. Not a match. The guess was 9 for Robert McQuaid of Stoneham, Mass. So, Robert will be sending you a consolation gift, and that means that Dan holds the money. We go up to $270. Dan doesn't get to hold this money, though. It's $1,500 first prize for Joe Ashline. Congratulations. Boy, nice quick start always helps, right?
Yeah, I'm glad it was a 3-string match instead of 4 because Dan was coming pretty fast. So, yeah, that's a good start for me, so hang on there.
Well, it's nice to get it just seemed like you were in one of those rhythms there. You were throwing the ball as hard as you normally do, but just very accurate, right on the target almost every time. Getting the 2 big strings, obviously the big lead.
Yeah, I was bowling good on LA32 the first couple of strings, and so when you go up there and throw mark the first check, then it makes it easier for the second box. But the last string, I was missing a head pin, and luckily I had a big lead.
Well, I know I don't have to tell you that the number 1 seed in this tournament has not always been the best place to be. This is only the second time in 6 years that the number 1 has held true. So congratulations for beating that jinx, anyway.
Yeah, well, I was number 1 once, and I almost had my score after 2 strings when I threw in 3. So I was thinking about that a little bit because it's kind of embarrassing you go up and not bowl a big score because this is the biggest match of the year for this. So you want to throw something that...
Well, I would say you accomplished that today. Again, congratulations. This last round of applause will be for you, Joe Ashline, our 1994 champion. With the big score today, indeed, the 4-11. In fact, the biggest score we've ever had in a championship match in the final match of the season in the Tournament of Champions. So it's all in the book once again. We mentioned about 4 weeks ago that we had just passed our 10th anniversary. This makes 6 Tournament of Champions events now in the books, and of course we'll be re-airing some of our better shows from the past season, both on Saturdays at noon in doubles and Sundays at noon here at Park Place Lanes throughout the summer. And then, of course, we'll be back in the fall. And until then, you remember, you got to hang on now. $270 we start out in the bonus ball contest. And as always, thanks to you, Dan, and to everybody else at home for helping to make the show a success. Always a pleasure. And I guess I'll probably run into you on the golf course once or twice.
Yes, we'll probably be in the same woods looking for the ball. Yes,
or maybe different woods on each side. We wish everybody a terrific summer, and be sure and join us again in the fall when we begin a brand new season of Candlepin Stars and Strikes here on the Winds of New England. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the entire crew, this is Doug Brown. Have a great summer, everybody.